I eat healthy, but I can't seem to lose weight. Sound familiar? It's something that I hear a lot as an online coach, helping people transform their physique. You can eat the healthiest diet in the world, but if you're not managing your calories correctly, you're not going to see any fat loss. In this video, we're going to take the guesswork out and make sure you understand exactly what you need to be doing to be able to get fat loss results. Welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan. I'm an ex-NFL player, online coach, and natural bodybuilder. And this channel is all about finding the most efficient way to help you lose fat and build muscle. The healthy food trap. As I said, as an online coach, helping people transform their physique, something that I hear a lot is people talking about that they eat healthy or they have a relatively good diet, but they just can't seem to drop weight. And then when I investigate further, they're eating things like avocado on toast, acai bowls, plenty of granola, superfood smoothies, dried fruits, heaps of nuts. Now, all of these things are packed with micronutrients and independent of calories are going to be great for our health. However, when it comes to fat loss, we need to make sure that we're adhering to a calorie deficit. If we're not in a calorie deficit, we're not going to be able to lose fat. So when it comes to choosing our foods, we need to be thinking of the caloric value first before we worry about the micronutrient content. So making sure that we're hitting our protein target and making sure that we're in a calorie deficit should be our number one goal, especially if our number one goal is fat loss. Now, I'm not saying to completely disregard your food quality altogether and just track your calories and go to McDonald's, because micronutrients are not only important for our health, but they're also important for fat loss as well. They're going to improve our mood, they're going to improve our energy, they're going to improve our performance in the gym, they're going to improve our sleep. All of these things are indirectly going to improve our fat loss results. However, we can have all the micronutrients we want in the world, but if we're not in a calorie deficit, we aren't going to see fat loss results. So by prioritizing fruits and vegetables are going to be a great way to be able to hit your micronutrient target, also get your fiber intake up, which is going to be super beneficial for our health. But they're relatively low in calories, especially vegetables. You can have so many veggies. Now I know what you're thinking. Everybody hates salad, but get creative with it. You can have oven-baked veggies. You can have air-fried veggies. You can have vegetables in soup. You can find so many ways to incorporate vegetables into your meals that is going to increase the food volume and increase the micronutrient content, increase the fiber, but is going to allow you to stick to a calorie deficit because they're so low in calories. Also, having lean cuts of meats and low-fat dairy is going to allow us to hit our protein target whilst keeping the fat content low, which is going to keep the calories low as well. Potatoes and sweet potatoes are a great option, especially because they're going to have a lot less calories than, say, pasta or rice. So you're going to be able to eat more food while sticking to your calorie deficit. Now, it's not to say that you should only eat these foods, but it should make up a large majority of your diet, especially when it comes to lean meats, low-fat dairy, and also like the fruits and vegetables. You should definitely be having them majority of the time throughout the day. And some of the pitfalls to watch out for when we're talking about health food is the blended and the liquid calories. Now, the act of chewing food allows us to feel more satiated than the act of drinking. So if we ate a certain amount of calories and drank a certain amount of calories, we're going to feel more satiated from eating it and chewing it rather than drinking it. So that's one thing. Also, if they're juices where they're extracting the fiber, fiber is not only great for our health, but it's also great for fat loss because it slows down digestion, leaving us feeling fuller for longer. So we need to make sure that we're not having juices that extract the fiber because it's going to reduce how much satiety we feel. And when it comes to superfood smoothies or smoothies in general, they're generally going to try and improve the taste by adding things like honey, dates, peanut butter, which are very calorie dense. And they're going to increase your calories that you're having for that smoothie. Now, this isn't a problem if you're making a homemade smoothie that you're going to take out for breakfast. And it's something that's just a part of your routine and makes it easier in your life. But if you're someone who's out and about and just wanting a snack, and then you go for some type of smoothie, thinking that it's just a little bit of a snack and it's not really going to do any harm. Some of these smoothies can have 800 to even 1,000 calories per smoothie. So if you're looking for a snack, you'd be much better off grabbing, say, a high protein yogurt and a piece of fruit. It's going to have nearly a quarter of the caloric value of some of these smoothies. So we just need to be aware of that a lot of these smoothies, although they are promoted as healthy, are going to be very calorie dense. So we need to be paying attention to that. Another one is dried fruits. When you extract the water from fruit, it decreases the overall food volume. So obviously we're going to be shrinking it down. This is going to increase the calorie density of that food. So say if you took 100 grams of dried mango and 100 grams of mango, the dried mango may have 2 to even 3 times the amount of calories. So you're going to be able to eat more food if you ate the regular mango as opposed to the dried mango. So that's something to take into account, that if you're someone who enjoys dried fruit, that you're going to be consuming a lot more calories for a lot less food volume. So you're going to be feeling a lot less satiated. And a big one is hidden fats. Now fats have 9 calories per gram as opposed to protein and carbs, which only have 4 calories per gram. Now we need to be understanding this, especially when it comes to foods like avocado, nuts, olive oil, eggs. Now these are fantastic for our health, and we should definitely be incorporating that in our diet. But it's not something that we can just have heaps of because it's healthy for us. When we have an avocado, maybe we should add half an avocado instead of a full avocado. Some full avocados can be 300 calories. And be careful of how many nuts you consume on a day-to-day basis. A handful of nuts can be 2, 3, even 400 calories depending on the nuts. Now these little mistakes can completely negate a calorie deficit that we set for that day. And also make sure we're measuring out our olive oil and understanding how many calories are going to be coming from the olive oil we're consuming. A tablespoon of olive oil can have 130 calories in it. So if we're having 1 or even 2 tablespoons throughout the day, those calories can stack up very, very quickly. Also eggs, fantastic for our health, but we don't need to just have whole eggs. Maybe have 1 or 2 whole eggs with some egg whites. This is going to allow us to get our protein up, but it's also going to keep our fat content and our calories down as well. And this is generally why I recommend more of a high carb approach, because high carb foods, especially the ones that I spoke about, fruits, veggies, potatoes, they're going to be high volume, low calorie dense. So you're going to be able to eat more of it for less calories. They're also generally high in fiber as well. So fruits and vegetables, fiber is great for our health. Plus it slows down digestion, making us feel fuller for longer. So all of these things are not only great for our health, but also for our fat loss pursuit as well. It's going to allow us to eat more food, feel more full, but stick to our calorie deficit. And final takeaway is the blanket approach of eating healthy should solve it and allow you to lose fat just isn't enough, especially if we're consuming the foods that I spoke about, like smoothies, having the avocado on toast, the granolas, the dried fruits, the heaps of nuts that we are just not accounting for the caloric value of. Especially if we're having these foods, we can easily put ourselves at maintenance or even into a calorie surplus when we think that we should be in a deficit and losing fat. Always and forever, calorie deficit is what we should be chasing if we want fat loss results. And if that is our main priority, then making sure that we're in a calorie deficit should be in our main priority. So making sure that we're choosing foods based on their calorie density, so it's going to allow us to feel fuller for longer. We can still have a diet that is full of micronutrients, fiber, and also be in a calorie deficit and see the amazing fat loss results that we want. So I hope this video has been informative, guys, and I know this stuff can become a lot. I'm an online coach. I help people one-to-one with this to be able to transform their physique. So if you're someone who is looking to transform your physique, I am taking on clients at the moment. All the links are in the description below. So just head on through there, book in a call, and I'll see how I can help. I also have all my free resources, the 21-step guide to fat loss. I also have the fat loss checklist as well. Both of those are completely free and you can go through, and they're amazing resources. And I guarantee if you follow the steps that are in those, you will see results. But if you're someone who needs that little bit of help or also needs that accountability as well, then reach out. I'm taking on clients at the minute. So if you are interested, book in a call and I look forward to catching up with you. But until next time, talk soon.